Hey everyone, welcome back. I've got a couple of thoughts about Google Stadia as well as 4 updates that I'm going to share. Before we get started, if you enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, and of course click the bell so that you get notified every time that I either go live or post a new video. The thoughts that I have are right now there is some backlash against Google for the launch games that are coming out. Right now we have 12 launch games, which I did a video about either yesterday or the day before. I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. I did a video about it yesterday, and a lot of people are unhappy. Myself, I'm happy because, I mean, how many games can I play at once? And there's 2 games on there that I want to play. I want to play Destiny 2 because I've never played it, and I want to play Guilt, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Those 2 games, they're going to entertain me for long enough before Darksiders comes out at the beginning of December, and then that one's going to take up all my time. I know that there's a lot of people out there who are saying, well, these are games that are on other platforms. Where are our new games? And I understand that argument. I really do. But for me, these games are new to me, so it's okay. And if they're not new to you and you don't like the launch lineup and you want to cancel your pre-order because of that, I understand that. I still think it's a mistake because you are getting a Chromecast and a controller, and you also get the 3 months of Pro and the Buddy Pass and all that other stuff. I think it's worth it. But if you don't think it's worth it, then you're completely in within your rights to cancel your pre-order. And my opinion is no more valid than yours. My opinion is no more valid than anybody else's. So if you don't think that it's a good deal, then by all means cancel. There are some things that are missing from the launch that I find really, really surprising. And specifically one game, Doom, 2016 Doom. I don't understand why that is not a launch title. I have a suspicion, but I don't know. I don't have any inside information as to whether or not it's correct. But you would think the game that helped convince Google that they were onto something, Doom 2016. You know, when Bethesda brought this to them and they said, "Look, we did it. It worked. You know what you built is going to work." You would think that then they would have that running and playable and a launch day title. You would think that, but apparently it's not. You know, it's not one of those 12 games, and that really surprised me. I didn't even notice it yesterday when I was making the video about the launch games that Doom wasn't on that list. But after I thought about it some more, I was like, absolutely. Why is Doom 2016 not on here? And the only possible reason I can think is maybe it's going to be the December Pro game. That makes sense to me. Maybe it's not a launch game because it's going to be a December Pro game, and they wouldn't want a bunch of people to spend money on it and then 2 weeks later have it be free. Like, that would tick off a lot of people. And then people would be like, where's my money? Can I have my money back? So I can understand that being the reason. I don't know if that's the reason. I don't have any inside information, but that's just a guess. All right, let's talk about the launch games that I am excited about. Guilt just launched an official trailer, and oh my God, this game looks so fantastic. I can't wait to play Guilt on Google Stadia. It looks great. The graphics are gorgeous. It looks scary as hell without being super gory. And for me, that's very exciting. I like to be scared. I don't like things that are super gross. Now, I'll put up with super gross stuff like in Alien Isolation or in Doom 2016 because the gameplay is so good or the scare is so good that it makes it worth it. But I prefer games that aren't super gory and gross. So for them to have, like, this Guilt looks like a game that is made specifically, like they called up somebody and they said, hey, what does Bill want to play? This is what Bill wants to play. And Tequila Works bringing this game to Stadia. I'm very, very excited. Day one purchase for me. I haven't decided when I'm going to, I'm going to be streaming on Tuesday for launch day. Stay tuned here, subscribe, and click the bell so you get notified. I'm going to be streaming it. I don't know if it's going to be this or Destiny 2. I get the feeling like Destiny 2 would be a better game to stream because this is such a story-based game that I don't want to spoil it for people, and I don't want people to not watch because they're like, I don't want to get spoiled on it. I'm definitely going to be buying this on day one, but it looks just fantastic. And I'm very, very excited for it. And overall, I think that this trailer got me even more excited than I already was. Speaking of launch games, there's another game that we were all assuming would be a launch game, and that is Football Manager 2020. And the reason we all assumed that Football Manager 2020 was going to be a launch game for Stadia is because that game had a release date of November 19th, 2019. So it makes perfect sense for that to be a Google Stadia launch game, but it wasn't listed in those 12 games. And I, for one, was surprised. I didn't really care because it's not a game for me. I don't care about soccer. I know, football, whatever. I'm not a sports guy. I like arcadey sports games, but I'm not a sports guy. I don't really care about this game. But I was confused because we had a launch day of November 19th. So why isn't this listed? Well, it looks like I am not the only one confused. Miles Jacobson, who is the director for Football Manager, he tweeted out, he's Miles SI, by the way, on Twitter. He tweeted out, as far as we're concerned, our release date on Stadia is still the 19th. I can only presume it's not on this list as being definitely there because there are other titles that have already passed the submission process, whereas we haven't given them a final build as yet. So that's very interesting. It seems like there is some confusion, which is never good. It's never good when there's confusion. It's never good when there's confusion with a publisher bringing a game to your system. Google, you got to fix this kind of stuff. You got to get on your communication game. And I'm sure that after he tweeted this, somebody from Google reached out and has since explained it to them, but I haven't found anything yet. So hopefully this is something that we're going to find out very, very soon. I know that there's a lot of people who are excited for that game, and I hope that you are not disappointed if it doesn't come out on the 19th. But hey, guess what? As far as launch games go, yeah, we got 12 games, and there's people who are not happy with those 12 games. I understand that. If you decide you want to cancel, that's fine. I'm not gonna, try and convince you otherwise. But sure, we got 12 games on launch day. But then for the rest of 2019, which is a month and a half, a month and less than a month and a half. All right, there's less than a month and a half left in 2019, and we have 14 more games scheduled for the rest of the year. That is a lot of games to play. And sure, they're not all coming out on launch day, but it makes a lot of I don't know. I think it takes away a little bit of the argument. I do feel like there are people who have a good argument to say, hey, we thought that there was going to be more. Google should have, nailed this stuff down a long time ago and told us exactly which games are launch games and which games are not. And I don't think this 12 games being or only 12 games for launch games, I don't think this particular list is that bad. But because Google didn't communicate enough information to us, people made assumptions, and now they're disappointed because those assumptions are not true. And that ticks a lot of people off. And this is a very, very common thing in the gaming industry. People make assumptions, and then they're disappointed when those assumptions don't come true. The best way to avoid that is to be very transparent and tell us everything that we are asking, so that we don't have to make assumptions, because getting this close to the day that something is launching and just now finding out what the exclusives are, I think that's pretty weak. In my opinion, that's pretty weak. I think that Google can do better, and hopefully they will. All right, another launch game question. This is kind of all about launch games. Another launch game question that a lot of people have been asking is, what shoot, I forgot. Oh yeah. How the heck are we going to control a Just Dance game with a controller that doesn't have gyro controls? And that's a great question. Well, the answer is the Just Dance controller app. I got a lot of people send me this screenshot. It is the Just Dance controller details. It says, no controller, no problem. The Just Dance controller app scores your dance moves and allows you to navigate in your Just Dance game simply by using your smartphone. No other camera or additional accessory is required. Just keep your smartphone in your right hand while dancing to let the app track your awesome moves. It's easy and fun to play with up to 6 players simultaneously. So grab your friends and family and join the party. Let's see, where else does it say? Oh yeah, here. This app is compatible with Just Dance 2020 on Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch Lite, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Stadia. So there you go. That's how you're going to be playing Just Dance. Now, I'm curious to anybody out there who's, I'm assuming that this is something that they've done with Just Dance 2019 in the past. I don't know. I've never been interested in these games, and I still am not. But I am curious how well this works compared to the other input methods that other systems have. So for instance, the Switch, it has, the Joy-Cons. The Wii has the Wii remotes. The PlayStation has the PlayStation camera. The Xbox has the Kinect. And, the PlayStation has the PlayStation Move controller. How does using your phone compare when playing this game? And if you have some experience playing this game and you have and you can answer that question, I would love to hear it in the comment section down below. Please let me know. All right, the last thing that I want to talk about before I get out of here, and I'm going a little bit longer than I wanted to, I apologize, and that is that Grid on Stadia has a 40-car mode, and that is just not possible with other hardware. This comes to us from an interview from WCCF Tech, which I gotta say, it's a great website. It's an awful website name. It's so hard to remember what it is, but maybe that's just for me. Maybe it's because I don't know what they stand for. Anyway, WCCF Tech, they were interviewing, oh gosh, I forgot who it was that they were interviewing. I read it earlier, and now it's gone right out of my brain. Mark Green, he's the development director for Grid at Codemasters, who is in charge of porting the game. And they were talking about, or they made the game and they ported the game, but they were talking about porting the game to Stadia. And he mentions right here, they developed a whole new mode for Grid Stadia, which has 40 cars on the track at the same time. This is something that just isn't possible with other hardware. And that's the kind of stuff that I think is very interesting. That's the kind of stuff that I think he's going to sell Stadia to people, is this idea that the versions of games that are on Stadia, those are going to be the best versions of games. Those are going to be things that can't happen on other hardware, but can happen on Stadia because of the elastic computing, because the data center is your console. And I think that this is very, very interesting. There's more to the interview. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. They did say specifically that it runs great in 4K, 60 frames per second. It looks beautiful. So now you know. And I if you want to check out the full interview, check out the link down below in the description. But that's it for today's Stadia update. Keep in mind, my interview with John Justice is going to be on Thursday, as long as Google doesn't have to move him around on me again. He's a super busy guy, so if that happens, I apologize. But keep that in mind. And I will be streaming Stadia games next. I don't know where. I don't know where yet, because I don't know how branded channels work with streaming. So that's a question I'm going to have to be asking John on Thursday. Again, these are questions we shouldn't have to ask this close to launch. Like, they should be communicating this to us, but whatever, that's fine. I will be streaming. I don't know where. It'll either be here at Stadiacast, at youtube.com/Stadiacast, or at my other channel, which you should follow right now, youtube.com/RunJumpStomp. I'll be streaming at one of those two places, and hopefully you guys will be there. And I think I'm going to be playing Destiny 2 first. I don't foresee myself playing Guilt first on stream because I think a lot of people will stay away because of spoilers. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for subscribing, and thanks for clicking that bell. I will see you next time. Until then, bye-bye.